Now, what you probably think this means is maybe you think it means, every day write a gratitude journal. Every day, write things that you're grateful for, or maybe you, as you're driving down the road, think about things you're grateful for. That's all good stuff. But I mean in interaction with other people as well. Anytime that Jessica makes a meal for me, and she doesn't make every meal, right? A lot of meals I'm kind of independent, I'll make my own. But anytime she makes a meal for me, anytime she does anything for me, I thank her. That never gets old. Anything she does, I thank her. If someone holds the door for me, I thank them. If I'm walking across the parking lot and someone stops and doesn't cripple me, I thank them. And I taught my sons this. They hold the door for people, they thank people, they wave at the car if they stop for them, not crippling them, right? But you know how many people don't do that? Do you know how many people that the spouse does something nice for the other spouse on a daily basis and now it's just pattern? Oh, I don't need to think. She's been doing that for 20 years. He does it every day. Don't let that get old. Thank people. Thank them. Let's get in the habit where it's weird. It's weird if you hold the door for someone and they don't thank you. Wouldn't that be cool? Where it's weird if you, pick up the tab somewhere and it's weird if someone doesn't thank you. If someone teaches me something, I thank them. I'm grateful for it. And I tell them. Throughout this event, I've been, texting little things to a few different people. I text a little one to my man Tim Sales right there. There he is. Now he's going to be bombarded. He loves signing autographs. He'll spend so much time with you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. Sorry, brother. Sorry. I just lost that. Thank you. But I've been texting different people just like thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for honoring us with your presence. Don't let thank you get old. It never gets old. And if you're going to run the risk, then thank too much. Thank too much. If someone does something nice for you, thank them. Don't let it get old. Number 2, ILT. Now we're going to talk a lot more in detail. Many of you are familiar with this strategy, right? ILT. Why change the world, ILT? I believe it will. I believe it will for a couple reasons. For those that don't know, ILT stands for invest, learn, teach, right? So you invest your time, possibly money, to learn something, and then you teach it. How does that change the world? Yeah, it's good for marketing, right? How will that change the world? Do you know how much better you feel if you're making an impact on other people? You feel pretty dang good. And an easy way for you to do that is just start teaching what you're learning. Do you know how many people should be in this room? Do you know how many people doing it wrong on LinkedIn? How many people are not cold market prospecting because they're too fearful about it, too selfish, too worried about looking bad? If they had some of these tactics, if they learned some of the things that were taught today, they'd be making a bigger impact. Well, guess what? Maybe I don't get to those people, but you do. Every single one of you has a sphere of influence that if you start sharing more stuff that you are learning, because you're in the profession of learning, you're in the self-development profession. That's what you're in. Would you agree with that? That's what we constantly do. We're constantly working on ourselves. Knowing that, you can make a difference. And it doesn't necessarily have to be network marketers. I have a lot of people in different niches that aren't in network marketing that tell me my videos helped them, or my podcast, or whatever else, right? You can make that too. ILT. The notes that you took today, you have a couple choices. You can either not cash them, because they're just uncashed checks. You can throw them on the pile of your other notes from the last event and the event before that no one ever heard. Or you can convert that to online content. You can convert it to a Facebook status update at minimum, an article, a blog post, a video, a Periscope. And we have, one of our clients is an expert Periscope. There she is. What's up? And you could literally do a little Periscope. Who doesn't know what Periscope is? I'm sure some people don't. Be honest. Okay. So Periscope it's owned by Twitter. It's an app that you can get on your phone, and you can live stream, basically from anywhere. Anyone doing Periscope right now, are you? Cool. It's neat. It's kind of off the cuff. I do Periscope almost every day. And it's just a live stream. You literally click a button, and boom, it records live stream. And people can join on, and it's a good time. You could literally do a Periscope and read your notes and just say, yeah, then we learned this, then we learned this, then we learned this. Record it, have it saved to your phone, upload it to Facebook, upload it to YouTube. Boom, that's online content. Someone somewhere may see that and say, wow, that's a really good point. That's really cool. Are you helping them? If we all become someone who is a sharer of information, we make an impact. That's why I have this in the top 8. Number 3, forgive. People always ask me, what was the switch, Ray? You were in foreclosure, you were dead broke. What was the switch? And it's hard to pinpoint a switch. There was a switch, but it's hard to pinpoint the exactness of, you know what, it was this one course, or it was this one thing. What I believe is, and I'll talk more about this on Saturday, but I believe that if I didn't forgive my dad, that there's no way we would be here. Hadn't talked to him in 13 years. He had never met my sons, who were 8 and 9 years old at the time. I don't believe if I would have forgiven him that I ever would have built what we've built. I just don't believe it. And the reason is, your past, it's in your past, but it's actually fogging up your future. It's taking up actual space in your mind. It's taking up your mental energy. When you clear that stuff out, there's a new road that you can walk down. There's a new opportunity. There's a quote by Reverend Michael Beckwith. We were working with him, and we may do something with him in the future. But he says, forgiveness is giving up on the fact that the past could have been any different. I don't hold a grudge because I didn't have the greatest childhood. I don't hold a grudge that, my, stepmom didn't treat me the way that, maybe someone should be treated. I don't hold a grudge. Because if I did, then that means that I'm not aware that the past couldn't have been any different. It couldn't have been. Maybe I grow up to be a jerk father, if that doesn't happen. Maybe I grow up to be a totally different person, if that didn't happen. Another thing that I'm super grateful for, I'm super grateful that I lost all my money a few years ago. Sure made me appreciate it. I'm so grateful for that. How would I be able to train people that are in that same situation? I don't think I could. I can only train from where I've been. Grateful for those things. I'm grateful that I lost it all. Grateful. Give up on the fact that the past could have been any different, because it couldn't have been. You were dealt the hand that you were dealt. Your choice is to play it. You can't go back and change those cards. They're there. Get uncomfortable. This is something that I just can't tell you. And I learned this actually at the age of 18, believe it or not. Not bungee jumping. Still haven't bungee jumped. I am kind of a wuss, not gonna lie. But I did buy, we got tickets for skydiving, so I'm going to do that. I'm not real excited, but I'm going to do it. Because it makes me really uncomfortable. But I'll tell you where I learned this. I was working at a grocery store called Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie? Right. Fans of Winn-Dixie, that's impressive. Yeah! WD, baby! It's awesome. It's impressive. They got a good brand, apparently, in here. And so I'm 18, and I just gotten out of some weird situations, okay? I'm 18 or 19, actually. I'm not sure which one, 18 or 19. I just gotten out of some weird situations. I moved out of the house, out of my mom's house, toward the end of junior year. And I was living in the, not so great party house, right? My senior superlative was party animal. Mom was proud. And so, yeah, I didn't see her for a couple years while I was actually in high school. Didn't finish high school on time, if that's an indicator. So, but when I got out of that scene, which a lot of people that I hung out with and lived with actually went to prison. Some are still there. When I got out of that scene, I started working at Winn-Dixie. It was one of the jobs that I had. I basically consumed my time with work because I didn't want to have free time. I got 3 jobs. I was just nonstop. And there was a gentleman there, and he was the assistant manager. And I'm looking for mentorship. I'm hungry for mentorship. I'm hungry for direction. And because I'd always had goals, okay, some of them not the most ethical goals, but had goals. And I was looking for direction. So I talked to this guy, and I'm like, hey, you've been here a long time. He was, yeah, I've been here 12 years. He had been at Winn-Dixie, assistant manager. And I said, cool, how's it going? He goes, I'm just gonna, stick it out here, and if I go another, whatever he said, 8 years, 9 years, I can be a this and then that, and and I'm like, oh, cool. So you must like it. He goes, I hate it. Now, I'm not jaded, right? I'm 18, 19. I'm not jaded, so I'm a little confused by that statement. I don't realize that people actually stay in something they hate their whole life, and that's just like okay. And so I'm like, you hate it? Well, I don't understand. What do you mean? Because he had just told me he'd been there 12 years. He's going to stay another 8 or 9 years, right? And he said, well, the money that I'm making right now, I don't think I can go anywhere else and make the same. So I'm just going to stick it out here. Well, this guy was 32 years old. Think about that. 32 years old. Let's just cash in the chips. This is as good as she gets. That stuck with me. I'm so grateful for that conversation. Oh my God. I'm so grateful. Because it has pushed me when I needed pushed. I worked my way up, and I was working at a county government, making what most people would call a pretty good salary. And when I felt that comfort bone, I'm like, shit, man, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I got to go do something else. When I felt that there was no other things to grow into, I had to go do something else. And people laughed at that. They're like, right. You're at this salary, county government, rock solid, safe, secure. You're crazy. They thought I was nuts. But I did. Went to another job for a year, and then became an entrepreneur 1 year after that. It is those jumps that gave me the confidence to keep jumping. And we talked a little bit about patterns. We talked about getting uncomfortable. When you start to create a pattern of not moving when you feel the urge to move because you're scared, you're setting that pattern. There will be other scenarios of that throughout your entire life. And so I love what Steve came up here and shared, and he said, man, just stroking that big check, it gave me the ability to do this, this, and this. I didn't give him that ability. Do you know that? I didn't say, now, Steve, it's time to quit. Time to quit your job, right? Never had that. I didn't do that. He created a pattern. He created a pattern of, I want this, but it's really uncomfortable, but I'm going to go get it. And then poof, everything else in his life started lining up. I hate that I have to say this, but limit your negative talk about others. I can't think of a less energetic thing to do is talking negatively about others. Don't spend your time talking about that. I have people that they'll reach out to me and they say, hey, did you know so-and-so is doing this?
What do you want?
And I've had throughout my different careers, I've had plenty of people that I used to work with or whatever that wanted to bash me. And I remember, I guess I can say this. I was a speaker at a real estate association years ago. And when I decided that my goals were a little bit out of, a little bit aligned differently than the heads of that association, and I let them know, hey, I'm kind of going my separate way. Oh man, literally for years they bashed me at every meeting. They would hold these meetings, just bash me, just tear me to pieces. Never responded. And people would say, dude, they said this, this, and this. What? Aren't you going to say something? I'm like, I'm not. I'm focused on where I'm going. That's just how I think. I focus on where I'm going. Focus on where you're going. Yeah, thanks. Focus on where you're going. That is powerful. The ability to talk about somebody else negatively, that's not powerful. That's what everyone else does.